album.
When I was young in the good old days on the farm of my neighbor's suburb, all the poor dogs.
Hey, this is Leonora Ortega Till with Too Punk to Be a Hippie, and I've got a good friend here, kind of a newer friend to me, Cullen. How you doing, dude?
Doing great. How about you?
And I'm good. Tell us where you're coming in from. Where are you recording from right now?
I'm recording from my farmhouse basement in South Dakota, kind of near.
Now, what makes it a farmhouse?
Well, it's on a farm.
But that doesn't make it a farmhouse. Does it have to be painted red or white?
It is white, yeah,
Like,
and it's
technically.
like it's a little bit small. It's quaint. There's not like a lot of frills, you know. It's a sturdy house, and it's a functional house, and that's about it.
Yeah, but when I think of a farmhouse, right? So when I think of a farmhouse, my ideas go back to where the red fern grows,
Oh
like
yes.
in Appalachia,
Mm.
or like with a like a hole in the ground where you store potatoes. Do you
Yeah,
have something like that?
I have a root cellar. I mean, if that's what you're talking
That's
about.
what I mean. That's
Yeah,
the word. Yeah.
yeah.
So what's down there?
What's down in my root cellar? It's a work in progress right now. Well, I use it very, very minimally at the moment, but I am in the process of renovating it and hopefully getting some lights down there just so I can see a little bit better. But yeah,
Then that's not going to be a root cellar, dude. You cannot upgrade it. Doesn't it just have to be a hole with dirt where you pickle things and can things and leave it down there?
yeah. I mean, that's what it is. It's kind of
So why do you
crazy.
need a light?
Because it's really dark underground.
I've heard of this. So I also think of, okay, the other movie I think of is the book is Charlotte's Web. Remember that?
Yeah. That's some pig. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, like having a farm area means a red barn,
Yeah.
right?
Well, the red
Picket
barn that was
fences.
here was burned down, unfortunately, a
Okay.
few years ago. Not by me, by the people who owned it before me. And we do have a white
Oh.
picket fence. So
What about a couple of dogs that are never on leashes?
we've got a couple dogs. And you already referenced where the red fern grows. One of my dogs is a red bone coonhound named Ann, little
No
Ann.
way.
I'm not joking.
You have little Ann? Why didn't you buy Big Dan?
I don't know if you've ever had a coonhound, but they're
That's not common, dude.
rambunctious and
Okay.
they're loud. Like one is enough. I've
Okay.
got another one who's my baby. I love him more than anything.
Oh,
It's
is
great.
it a terrier?
No, he is a Braque du Bourbonnais, which is
I
like
have
this.
no concept.
It is a French hunting dog, feather and fur dog that
What?
actually went extinct. I think after World War I, they used them in the war and stuff like that, and the breed itself went extinct. And some people kind of like reintegrated it using some breeding techniques, and now there's a very, very small subsection of them in the world, and I have one of them, and he is the smartest dog in the entire world. I love him dearly.
All right, so we're gonna have to look up a picture of that at some point because I have no concept. He sounds like a French dish. He sounds like food, like something delicious.
Yeah. He kind of looks like
Yeah.
like if you've ever seen like a German short hair.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a little bit
Okay.
like that, but smaller, and has more white to them. But they have like the most
Okay, so
like beautiful faces, and they all have a diamond on their forehead.
my first dog ever was a mutt, and his name was Diamond because he had a diamond on his forehead.
love
He was
it.
kind of like one of those what are those Burmese mountain dog kind of mix thing? And my parents had a big party when I was 5 and gave him to me as if a 5-year-old can take care of a dog.
Well, you know, it's good training, I think. Yeah,
I
no.
guess.
So
Let's
it had a
back up.
star, and it said, "Were you a David Bowie fan, or are
Okay.
you a David Bowie fan?
Of course.
Did
Yeah.
you ever play Diamond Dogs, the album Diamond Dogs for him?"
No, I didn't grow up with David Bowie. I usually just was rocking the best of. So like
Sure.
Modern Love is, the best of
Yeah.
album is something I really like. And I think he's really, really good. Let's Dance, all those,
Yeah.
the more, common songs.
Sure.
So I didn't grow up with all I found him later in my life, probably when I was like in 5-iron for sure.
I love it. That's great.
So I think we talked about this. So let's back up.
Sure.
So the reason I know Cullen is from the Black Sheep podcast.
Yeah.
And do you remember we talked about we were talking Motown. Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
That's what it was, because I didn't grow up listening to music like the Beatles or the Beach Boys or
Yeah.
anything. I grew up listening to Motown. So also David Bowie would kind of fit in that world. Like
Definitely.
the British invasion, kind of over my head. But I
Understandable.
wanted to ask you, Yeah. How did you start? What's the story of the Black Sheep podcast? How did you guys even start it?
So yeah, my best friend, Mason Meninga, who I grew up with, we went to the same church growing up,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like this evangelical Methodist church. And we were
Those go
really,
together, evangelical and Methodist?
um, there are some
I
sects
didn't
of
know.
it. Yeah. Like there's like a more Orthodox
Okay.
version, and then there's more, evangelical version, I would say. And we were a part of the more like loosey goosey, not so much about like tradition and stuff like that, but much more about,
Mhm.
spreading the
So less
gospel.
Lutheran and more like Pentecostal.
Yeah, for sure. We stayed in touch. We're still best friends. We still see each other
Mhm.
at least once a month, I would say. Obviously, we talk online all the time. Um,
Mhm.
but the one thing that brought us together was, heavier music, alternative music generally, folk music, um, anything that's a little bit out of the norm, a little bit more of the fringe of the Christian music world. And
Okay.
that's where we really started, becoming really good friends. And so we decided to, make a podcast out of it. There wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
podcasts when we started, around
Mhm.
that situation, around that whole scene. Now there's, a
Mhm.
thousand of them, but, you know, it's been
Yeah.
fun. We enjoy it.
What year did you launch? Do you remember?
We launched in, I think, late 2016.
Oh yeah,
So
that's a while.
it's been a while. And then
Were you like 12?
was I 12?
I
No.
don't know how old
I
you
was
are.
already a
You look super young.
homeowner and all that fun stuff. No,
You were
I was
19.
probably
19.
26, something like that.
How old are you now?
I'm 31, just turned 31 actually.
No, that's young.
Is
31.
it? Wow, that's good for me,
Well,
I guess,
yeah, that's good for you.
I,
Cool. 31? That's young.
yeah, yeah, it's fun.
That's
I
good.
enjoy 31 so far. It's been a few days, but
I'm trying to remember 31. Oh, that's when I had my second kid. That was like
hey,
2008. 2008, I was 31.
that's wild.
Mhm. Good
See,
times. Yeah, yeah, I know, right?
that's,
Eh,
2008 wasn't that long ago either.
really? Because my daughter's 15 and learning how to drive, so it feels like it's been a while. She's a sophomore. She's taller than me, and yeah, no, it feels like a while, dude. Anyways, okay, so Black Sheep podcast. Why did you choose that name? Because I identify as a black sheep of my family
Yeah,
in that I am a Christian. So some people would say they're
interesting.
black sheep because they're like got a nose ring or tattoos or everything, but I was the weird religious person in my family. So I was a black sheep because I was religious.
Yeah,
So tell me about why you guys picked that name for you
I
guys.
love that. We picked it because we view ourselves as like black sheep within like the culture that we grew up in South Dakota.
Mm,
It's very evangelical Christian, conservative, and we don't really fit in with really any of those peg holes.
mm,
Um, and
right.
so this kind of almost like listening to alternative music was like a soft rebellion, and
Yeah.
the scene that was surrounding it was a soft rebellion that we could kind of express ourselves and feel
Mm,
some sort of safety, not getting like
mhm.
my head bashed in at a hardcore show, but like, you know
Mhm.
maybe slightly safer than that.
Maybe. I've been in some shows of Christian like
Oh yeah.
POD. Like, what?
I mean,
Did you ever go to Cornerstone?
I never got the chance.
Ah, you would
So
have loved it, dude. Did you ever go to any Christian festivals?
Sunshine Festival and,
Mhm.
Lifelight Festival were 2 that we
Where's
frequented.
Lifelight?
Lifelight used to be in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
We did that.
Yeah, you did.
It's the one that was free.
Yeah, and
It was huge.
I saw
Did
you
you go the
there.
year we played?
Yeah,
Yes.
15
And
years
I got
ago
to hang out
probably
with
or so.
I got to hang out with my buddy John Rubin.
Yeah. Make
You
money,
remember
money,
that dude?
make money, money, money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
John Rubin, what you dip doing?
Yeah,
He's great.
he's a
Yeah,
boss.
that was actually so not to sound rude or judgmental, but some Christian fests aren't as fun as others.
Mhm.
The fact that that one was totally free for the community made it insanely cool.
Yeah.
Like the people were cool, the promoter guys were cool, like the vibe was cool. It was very chill. It didn't feel uppity. It didn't feel, I mean, it was like just hang out and talk to people and get to
Yeah.
know people and play a show.
Yeah. It was cool like that. And what I liked about
Mhm.
it so much was that they did allow for some more of the alternative scene to be, promoted and presented,
Mhm.
um, at a high enough level where it didn't feel like, like the kids were just like cast aside or something like that.
Right. No,
Yeah.
like same stage. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
What I hear you saying, like with that, is like when Five Round would play like Creation Fest or something, it's like fringe stage, right?
Yeah.
There's main stage, but then there's fringe stage for all the kids smoking with the piercings, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
So the reason I have you here is because we got to know each other through your podcast and then also from hanging out at Furnace Fest.
Yeah.
Okay. I found out you are a farmer.
Kind of. Yeah, more of like a hobby
Okay.
farmer. Yeah.
But okay, so there's a difference between a farmer and a rancher and a guy who has animals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, like a
so
rancher would have animals, but I mean, generally if you're a rancher,
Mhm.
you have a lot of animals.
Right. And a lot of and I can't call you urban farmer because no offense to South Dakota, but I can't even go urban there, right?
I mean, not really, no.
Like I wanted to think that way, and then I was like, okay, Denver, you could be an urban farmer,
Yeah.
maybe San Francisco, but South Dakota, it's kind of like it's a prerequisite for maybe being a farmer anyway, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I would agree with
Okay,
that.
well, so was it a process to figure out you wanted to do this, or what, did you grow up with it? What's the story there?
I grew up around it. Living in South Dakota, you're going to do that. I mean, it's the way it goes. You kind of gain some of the lingo here and there. My grandparents were
Okay, so let's
farmers.
see some lingo. Let's hear some lingo.
I mean, like if you want to talk about like head of cattle or I don't know.
Oh, a head of cattle.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't like really think of like a paddock. Like, do you know what a paddock is?
It sounds like, well, I'm wrong. I'm thinking of it like a lock. Like, what is a lock? Padlock.
That'd be a
But you're not
padlock, yeah.
saying the whole thing.
A paddock is
No.
like it's like a concrete flooring that you would have for pigs or cows or something like that. So it's easy to clean off.
Oh, like,
Yeah.
okay, let me just get a little gnarly here. Slaughterhouse floor.
No, not necessarily. So
talking
like
about?
my
Oh,
pigs, they live on a paddock, which is a concrete floor. So it makes it really, really easy to clean up their poo. And then you can use that
okay.
poo for fertilizer and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you grew up in South Dakota, hearing about farming. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
In your high school, did people line dance?
There were some
Be
people
honest.
that knew how to do it. I mean, we did it during PE class. So if that counts,
You learned how? Do you know how to do the electric slide?
probably 90% of it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was
Same,
more into like the
same.
swing dancing. We got into that a little bit,
Oh, well, yeah,
which
that's
was
your
like,
age.
that's a
That's
brand
your
new
age.
craze up here. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, but so at my school, so I grew up in the countryside too. Pierce, Colorado, 800 people, dirt road, cornfields behind my house. I know how to swim in an irrigation ditch.
Yeah.
I know where to find the minnows. I know that there is the circle, like children of the corn in the middle of the corn, right?
Yep.
But I didn't subscribe to that wearing Wranglers and boots kind of thing.
Right. Same here.
Right? Like you neither. You don't look. Do you ever wear a cowboy hat?
No, I wouldn't be caught.
Come on.
I mean, I would maybe do it ironically. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the
No, but
movie.
it might give your pigs some peace. They'd be like, this dude knows what he's doing. Well,
I mean, I wear like this giant like straw hat all the time.
Oh gosh,
It's
is that like a costume?
no, it's, I mean, it like this
Like with a piece of wheat hanging out and you chew on it and kind of need like some kind of farmhand to talk
kind
to?
of, I mean, it kind of looks like a Huckleberry Finn hat, I guess you would
That's
say.
what I'm saying. Are
Yeah.
you barefoot?
Sometimes.
Ah, nah, you got to get off this thing. Don't tell me you wear Crocs.
No, well, I mean,
Word cutting.
if I'm gonna run out to the garage real quick, yeah, I'll wear my Crocs. But no, I am a barefoot shoe subscriber. I'm a big time
Okay.
influencer in that world, at least.
How do you convince your pigs you're the real deal, dude? Dress like that. They think you're in costume. They're like, we're legit pigs doing legit pig things. And here's this dude in a black sweatshirt that listens to alternative music and is barefoot. He doesn't even know we could trample him. Aren't they like tons heavy?
They're not tons heavy, but I mean, like when we take them to be processed, they'll be hitting about 300 to 350. So I mean, they're big, but they're not like so big that like you can't handle them. But I will say this: pigs are insanely strong. Like,
and they're supposed to be really smart, right?
They're very smart. Absolutely. I mean, if
how do you know? Like, what have they done that tells you they're smart?
Okay, here you go. This is the best one. When I first started with pigs. Now I did a little bit of pig raising when I was growing up with my grandparents.
Was that 4-H or something? Oh, just with
No,
your grandparents?
just with my grandparents. Nothing that involved.
Okay.
But when I first got my pigs on my property, the first day they're doing great, right? No big deal.
Okay.
Got them out on the paddock. They've got a fence that's pretty well secured. One of the nice things about our paddock is that through the center, there's like this nice big patch of dirt, and they can root around in there. They love like just digging holes and like sinking their bodies into them. They love it, and you can tell that they're having fun. Well,
concrete, space, and land, and then concrete.
Yep, you got it. Yep.
Okay.
So at the very end of this, the fence goes over a piece of that dirt, like a little section of that dirt. Okay. The pigs, in less than 48 hours, figured out how to burrow their way underneath that section, underneath the fence, and then they just waltzed off into the wild.
Do you know what that reminds me of? Do you remember that book, The Pokey Little Puppy?
No.
He was always digging out. You never heard the Little Golden Book's Pokey Little Puppy?
I don't think so.
Oh, you have a kid, right? Don't you have a little kid?
I do. He just turned 1. Yeah.
All right. So for Christmas, I'm going to send you this present, Pokey Little Puppy book.
Beautiful.
It's about all these little dogs, and they're good, but there's just one, and something's up with him because he digs under and he's always running off.
Yeah, for sure.
So how many pigs did you have that ran away?
At that time, I only did 2. So I started off small.
Oh, just trying to. So it's just 2 getting loose.
Yeah, but 2 getting loose is it can be a very, very serious ecological problem. If these, like, let's say it was a male and female and they ran off.
That was one of my questions coming up, but was it?
Thankfully, no.
Okay.
So the story goes like this.
Okay.
They got out a couple times, but one of the stories goes like this. I was coming home from the gas station, from the nearest town, which is 7 miles away.
That's far.
It's a little ways.
7 miles.
About halfway, I see 2 little brownish red pigs sleeping in a field.
How cute!
And I'm like, those are my pigs. They'd been missing for a month. I was not able to find them. I had given up.
A month?
Yeah.
Did you think they were dead?
I was sure they were dead. And every once in a while, I'd see like little pig tracks, like here, there, everywhere. And I'm like, maybe
so they're coming home and eating and then leaving?
Or they're drinking. Maybe? The big thing was drinking water, because we've had a drought for the last number of years, and we have a creek that runs through our front yard. So that's probably what they were coming for. But I see the pigs, and I jump out of my pickup truck. And on my watch, I call my neighbor and I say, hey, grab the trailer. I found the pigs. Come like 2 miles down the road, and you'll see me. And I like jumped on them, and I like grabbed them like this, and I just put them in a headlock, and I just stood there while they just kicked the living dog out of me. They tore my AC joint in my right shoulder.
Maybe that's not worth it, Cullen. Maybe that's just too much.
They have sustained my life a lot more than.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So. Yeah. The reason for farming in this way, and we'll get into more of the farming. So far, it's like, this is such a cheesy word, and I don't know why they don't say like a different word, but animal husbandry, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Why don't they say like animal midwifery or something? Is there a feminine of animal husbandry?
That's a good question.
Am I just being too like weird?
I don't know. I've never thought about it.
Well, because I grew up here, right, in the countryside, and Temple Grandin is here at CSU.
Yeah.
And so, you can get a major at CSU in animal husbandry, but why do they call it animal? What does the husbandry part have to do with making animals have babies?
That's a great question.
Okay, you can get back to me on that, maybe?
Yeah. Maybe they were just really ahead of their time, and they were definitely like in favor of same-sex marriage.
No. It has to do with like we get A and B and we make good bacon.
Yeah.
We get A and B and we make good meat, right?
For sure.
What husbandry is, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So you said that they saved your hide a few times, like non-literally. So it's not a boy and a girl?
Nope, 2 boys.
Not?
Yep.
Oh, what?
Yep.
What is your goal here? I don't even get it.
So I'm not.
You're not making babies.
I'm not into breeding just yet. Because if you're going to breed, you need a whole lot more time, and you need a whole lot more infrastructure. So you have to have basically like 4 enclosed walls in order to very, very delicately bring piglets into the world and everything like that.
There's a sad book. Have you ever read the sad book? Sorry. Everything that I know about farming is from fiction literature. Is that bad?
I think fiction literature is perfectly worthwhile for this.
Have you read A Day No Pigs Would Die?
No, I have not.
Dude, so it's supposed to be like, I don't know if it's Quaker, but it's a book that we had to read in school. And the concept is, this is going to be sad. You can cry later.
Okay.
If you really read it to your son someday, you will cry. The concept is the man, the tough, stoic farmer dude, right?
Yeah.
Breeds pigs, which is gnarly enough in itself, right? They go through the details of having a boy pig impregnate a girl pig, which reading it, wow, gnarly, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so then the day no pigs would die, do you know what that means?
I don't.
It's the day his dad died because his dad was the pig killer.
Aww.
See, I told you it's sad.
That's like,
it's so sad.
I think Harry Chapin, who wrote Cats in the Cradle, needs to write a song about the day no pigs would die.
I know, it's gnarly. So we had to read this in school and I'm crying and I'm reading it to my son and it has all these messages of like certain faith. I want to say it's Quaker. And then you read, like, I decided to Wikipedia it. Crap, I shouldn't have Wikipedia'd it. Find out all the scripture that they took and used is fake.
What?
Fake. Yeah, some guy was BSing to be in the Quaker scene to write this book. Had no concept.
Interesting. That's like Sir William Blake style. Like just like creates his own.
Tell me more
scripture.
as I have my red wine.
Do you know of Sir William Blake? Are you familiar? So he's like,
and he's a poet. He was
a poet, and he was like this eccentric hermit, basically, which is like two things that don't go together very well, right? So
he's not trying to get a chick out of this poetry.
This is a Sir William Blake original. He was also an artist. This is like this is my all-time favorite. My all-time favorite.
What image. Is it? It looks like a piranha with like, it looks very metal, like a Metallica.
It kind of does. It's
what is it?
It's called the Ancient of Days, and it's like this godlike figure shooting lightning from the sun. It's pretty sick. I love it.
Tell me Metallica hasn't written that song. Come on.
I know.
Anyway, tell me more about Blake. Go on.
Yeah, no, I mean he like basically created his own religion. And he was like really like anti established religion back in England in the 1800s and stuff like that. 1700s, 1800s. He created his own religion that's like pseudo Christianity, and it's like he basically came up with like his own scriptures and stuff like that too, just like that.
It's called Mormonism. I've heard of it.
Well, he never meant for it to be serious. So like,
forget it then.
Yeah, at least
he didn't have like he wasn't selling items, like his store of like Mormon, I don't want to say Mormon, any feminine products that would go, or underwear or anything like that would go to somebody when they ascribe to this faith, right?
Yeah,
he wasn't doing it for money, right?
Right. Not that I mean, I'm sure he did. Like he sold his paintings, which were oftentimes like images of that, and he sold his poems that were also images of that as well. But
I mean, we all have images, but I'm saying like, Cullen, let's be honest. You ready?
He's not like L. Ron Hubbard, if that's what you're asking.
We could all be cult leaders.
We are.
No, I don't want to be. I've thought of this. Like sometimes my husband gets on my case and he's like, you could do so much more. You could be online. You could do this. You could do that. I'm like,
you could be a cult leader.
Yeah. And then but the temptation, right?
I think we're all cult leaders. If you have a family,
what do you mean?
If you have your own family, I think you're a cult leader.
No, because I purposely chose not to homeschool because I know I'm so like, I have my own opinions. And I was like, if I homeschool them, I will indoctrinate them into like my own beliefs, right?
Yeah, I mean they're going to be indoctrinated into your beliefs whether you like it or not.
No, they're not. Check it out. I got a 17-year-old son.
Okay.
He will look me in the face and say, "I refuse to believe what you try to teach me because you're trying to indoctrinate me."
Interesting. Well, that means you've raised him well, I think.
No, it hurts.
I'm sure it does, but it's good. It's good.
It is good.
You're creating individuals. I'm a teacher as well, so like that's a very important thing that I just don't see a lot in my students, you know.
And when you see it in your own kid, it's good because and you as a person who, I think you profess faith still, right? Even though you went to this Methodist thing?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just say this, right? And you'll nod because it's right. Faith is fluid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how
you're on a journey. You're on a journey.
That's right.
Right? We replace lies with truth constant. It's never like we believe this and not this. It's not that at all, right?
Right.
It's like an ebbing and flowing like the ocean, right?
That's right. I'm
Right.
okay with
So,
not knowing. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So we want our kids to make their faith their own, don't we?
Yeah. We
But it
should.
sucks.
A lot of people don't,
I
though.
do, but it sucks. It's not my
It
favorite.
does. What's the most upsetting part about it to you?
I don't want them to look at me having an ulterior motive. So I raised them at a church called Scum of the Earth Church, right?
Yeah.
That's where my community was. That's where I met my husband. There were homeless people, there were Gothic people, there were poor people, there were seminarians, there were all kinds of people. So my kids were not sheltered. They were used to this world. They were used to the world where, to be honest, like you see a person passed out and they say, call detox, not call 911.
Yeah.
Like they get it, right?
Yeah.
They get it. I don't want them to ever think that I was putting them in that world simply because I didn't want them to be sheltered. I want them to know I put them in that world because I cared about that world.
Right.
But I remember distinctly, this is kind of off the topic, but my son was in the back seat. He was about 2 and he had an orange. He was peeling an orange, about 2 or 3. And there was a homeless guy downtown Denver. And I grab my son's orange and I give it to the homeless guy. And then my son starts screaming, my orange, my orange. And the homeless guy looks so like, should I give it back? And then every time we saw a homeless guy, my son would be like, that's the guy that has my orange. It's just one of those things where I didn't want them to feel that their childhood was manufactured.
Yeah.
And they got told a lot of times, both my kids, that they were lying by their teachers. Because they'd go to school and my son would be like, oh, my mom's on tour for 2 months around the United States. And my dad's from Greece and he owns a screen printing shop. My mom's a pastor. And then with all these tattoos and like everything, I'd showed up to the school and the teachers are like, we need to do a home visit. We think your kids are lying. I was like, I'm not lying. I'm a pastor and I go away on weekends and play rock shows. And they'd be like, oh, this is real?
Wait, they wanted to do a home visit? Because
they
thought
2 of my kids' teachers did a home visit because they thought our kids were lying.
What? Why?
Because, Cullen, be honest, like it's kind of sensational, right? Like who really says to their dentist when their dentist is like in their teeth and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm a rock star. On the side, I'm a rock star.
I would do it all the time.
It's awkward. It's weird. And I only do it like after a little bit of laughing gas. Let's move on. I have to move on. Pigs.
Yeah.
Chickens.
Yep. That's actually how I got started into it. So I used to live in Sioux Falls, which is South Dakota's biggest city.
It's not Rapid City or whatever.
Rapid City is quite a bit. It's less than half the size of Sioux Falls, but it's on the complete opposite side of the state.
Okay.
So yeah, Sioux Falls allowed chickens all of a sudden. And so I started raising chickens. We had a nice big garden there too, but it became a passion of mine, which is, where it all started. Did you keep them
as day olds?
I did not start with day olds. I have done day olds a number of times. It's a pain in the ass to do day olds.
No, I know. I have chickens. Did I tell you?
Yeah, definitely. We've talked about this,
a
number of times about it, just you and I. But the struggle of day olds. If I can help it, I'm not going to do it.
No, I know. And I have to have them as day olds to endear me to them. Otherwise, when they get to pull it nasty age, I'm over it. Really? Right. Yeah. Like they're starting to lay and they look ugly and they're irritating.
Definitely. What I've always found to be the hardest thing is, so I've always got like these cycles of like different age chickens, right? If you try to introduce a pullet to a full flock, I mean, it takes forever to do it correctly. Otherwise they will murder each other. And it's so frustrating. Right. And I learned that the hard way too many times where like
they kill it.
Oh yeah. They would kill it. One of them. Okay. Here's one of my favorites. I cannot remember the name of the breed right now, but I sourced a couple, 1-month-old chicks.
What color?
They were they were black and white spotted. They were the most.
Oh, were they were some kind of Americana maybe? I think those are pretty, by the way, the black and white. They look almost like Dalmatians. I've seen them.
Yeah. Okay. So you have seen them. Yeah, but they have black combs instead of red. Mm-hmm. They were just like the most interesting looking chicken.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Yeah, very, very pretty. But they were also endangered. And so I was really excited to hopefully, because I had a rooster as well. I was really hoping to be able to breed them. And so I separated them and let them grow up a little bit more. By the time that they were almost full grown, I started to introduce them to the rest of the flock. And I did this by caging them in separately inside of our chicken run.
Okay, sure.
And sooner or later, the other chickens, the other hens, would bust down that other gate. They would find a way, and they ate the face off both of these beautiful
tell
chickens.
Me this.
It was horrifying. I was so sad because their faces were like just mangled, and they were still alive.
No.
And so I salved them up, and I tried to recuperate them, and they were doing great.
Right.
And
they're brutal, aren't they?
They are absolutely brutal. I got them healthy again, and they were old enough now where they could take care of themselves. I was almost certain of it. So
did they get fat? Like they got fat and they kind of told the other chicks what's up?
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And I don't know if it was like childhood trauma for them or what, but I started introducing them slowly but surely. Sooner or later, I came out and both of them were gone. And I was just really, really frustrated.
So we had to rescue one from some friends had some, and they had a raccoon that got into their coop, and raccoons do the same thing. They eat the heads off.
Yeah.
Sorry for anyone listening to this. This is brutal.
Well, this is important though, I think,
you gotta know the truth,
because
right?
there is a lot of like misinformation. People don't think that that there are actual predators out for chickens, and it is a constant struggle to try to protect a flock. It's a constant struggle to protect them not only from animals but from diseases and from everything.
Yeah. And if you're not emotional enough, you can't handle it.
Right.
If you're too emotional, I mean.
Yeah.
So essentially, we got this one, and she was molting and she was a mess. And so we kept her inside. She got big and fat when the other ones were molting.
Yeah.
We had to have you ever heard of a down under?
No. What's that?
Okay, so we found it on Amazon. It's this weird patch. It goes, I think, around their wings, and it has buttons, and it's made out of leather, and it's essentially to keep roosters off of them, to keep them like non-chafed all day, getting laid, right?
Yep.
Literally laid.
Yeah, for sure.
And but we had to put it on so the other chicks wouldn't mess with her.
Yeah. Yeah, because they the red site of the vent will make them attack.
Right.
Yeah. So do you guys have a run, or do you do free range?
Both. So it's a small run. We have an omelet, which is one of those European, very expensive, hard plastic coops, right? And we have 5 in there. And right now they're not laying because it's, winter, it's cold here. But pretty soon, hopefully they will start again. Who knows? But we let them out a lot. And both of my dogs know not to mess. My dogs will not mess.
Yep.
So I have a half Chihuahua dog, and then I have a terrier dog, and they're chill, like they all know to hang out. And so the chickens can hang out, and I let them out once in a while, but also keep them in. It just depends on the day. They don't need to come out every day. And usually they lay once a day, but right now, so let me ask you this, because we're not there yet. They're only getting to be almost 3 years. At what point did you decide to eat them, or did you eat them? What's happened?
The chickens themselves?
Yeah.
I've eaten them a couple times. So a lot of times what happens is I wait till like they just die, right?
They die? What's going to happen? They just die of
sooner or later. I mean, they just get so old, or they have.
Well, how old? You better get me ready for this, bro. How old?
It depends on the chicken and the breed, really. So like my Rhode Island Reds, which have been
I have 2 of those.
Yeah, those
how
have
long
been.
Do I got? Come on.
Those have been my favorite breed.
Me too.
I've had a number of those throughout the time I've owned.
They're beautiful and they're easy and they're good layers.
They're really like, they're not temperamental or anything, which is nice. But sometimes, I don't know, they probably last like 5 years. 5 years of laying, and they were still laying when I walked out.
2 more years,
and there they are, just croaked. They're dead. And so because I don't know how long they've been laying there, I can't really do anything with them. So what I generally do now, this is kind of funny.
You're gonna feed them to something else, right?
I go in and I cut the breasts out and everything, and I'll cook up the breasts, and I'll either give them back to the chickens or I'll give them to the pig. Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. No. My daughter, and these chickens are hers. She's dead set against me feeding them chicken.
Oh, you can do it. You definitely can do it.
I know, but I can't emotionally because she doesn't want me to.
Reptiles are really good at, I mean, they're basically reptiles. I mean, so like they have like this like
You're not
gene.
calling a chicken a reptile because they're like a velociraptor, right?
Yeah, but they do trace lineage back to directly to
I
reptiles.
know.
So like there
can't.
are genes from like the reptilian days back when they were reptiles that actually make it so that they don't have like cannibalism problems or anything like that.
So should they eat chicken?
It's perfectly acceptable. Yeah. Same thing with
We're not
eggs.
there yet.
Same thing with eggs. But
I know,
the eggs
but we've also learned
the eggs do need to be cooked. Yeah.
that's what we've learned. If they learn how to eat an egg, it's bad.
Yeah,
So
it's
we
really
have to stop them from eating like a raw egg because then they'll all eat eggs, right?
Did you do the like the rock eggs so that they don't peck at them?
No, because they never did that. They never started eating their eggs.
Okay, so
And we never had
you're
really
lucky. So out here where we live, I don't know if people know this, but like South Dakota gets like pretty consistently in like the 90 degrees during the summertime and like the low negative 20s pretty consistently during the wintertime. And
so you're pretty much Chicago. That sucks.
Yeah. And there's a little more snow, a lot more wind. That's like the big problem. But they will very, very quickly, like chickens will very, very quickly exhaust whatever they eat. And so sometimes.
What do you mean by that? Like eat it all? What do you mean?
Yeah, they'll eat it all, but they'll also like just exhaust themselves of the energy that they could consume. And sometimes they want more protein. So if you're not giving them enough protein, they're immediately going to go towards their eggs. So you have to be very, very careful if they're not getting enough protein to either A, add protein, which you should always be doing, or B, put like little rock eggs in there. So that when the chickens peck at the eggs, it hurts their beaks and then they don't touch their eggs again.
Well, I'm like a spoiled brat, so I spend the money and get them mealworms. You probably feed the meat.
I do sometimes, like scrap meat, or if if I shoot a raccoon or something like that, that's trying to attack them.
Oh, I'm totally shooting raccoons all day long.
Yes. Are you?
No.
I wish you would. I can imagine you just being a total badass.
Dude, no, I tried. I've only shot a gun once in my life.
Really? You got to come out to my farm and shoot.
I would love to. I went to New Zealand.
Oh, I love New Zealand.
And we were shooting at rabbits really far, right? Was it a rabbit? Yeah, it was a rabbit. It was a rabbit. And there was a reason. I think we were going to cook it or something. It was New Year's Eve. We had goat, pig.
Yeah, it's this one right here. You sent it to me. Yeah.
That guy, shut up. No, I didn't even get near the rabbit. It was so once in my life I've shot a gun. And it wasn't even like near. Oh, that's the only time in my life ever.
Yeah. That is kind of interesting to me.
I'm not against it though, because you know what? I love elk jerky.
Yeah, for sure. It's good stuff.
Do you get those? Do you hunt elk?
We have elk out west, but it's so expensive to get a tag. It's not something I want to put in the time to try to accomplish yet. Maybe in my like retirement years, I'll be like all about it. Who knows?
You're already planning. I have some friends too, and they're really into dogs. So they do ptarmigan hunting because it also includes their training of their dogs to go get it. And I guess legally in Colorado, Eastern Colorado, you can get like, I don't know, maybe up to 5 ptarmigan.
Yep.
Is it ptarmigan or is it quail?
Probably quail, but I mean, you could do a ptarmigan as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Around here, I mean,
so do you, you hunt and you eat what you hunt?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot of pheasants over here. Pheasants are very, very good eating, especially if prepared right. But my dogs are pretty good hunters, and we love taking them out, and it's so much fun watching them work, and it serves a purpose. It keeps the ecological.
Do they have like instinctually? Do they know what's up, or do you have to train that all into them?
Usually, you have to train it. My Brock Bourbonnais dog, though, I did not have to train him hardly at all. He, at 6 months, I took him out on his very first hunt, and he got me my limit 3 times in a row, the very first 3 times, and he retrieved. Now, generally, pointer-style dogs do not retrieve very well, but he was retrieving like a boss. I mean, it was great. It was so much fun.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. Did you pay bank for him?
No, generally you would.
Well, it sounds like you would have, because it's like they were disappeared and he gets all these, like, what's your deal?
Yeah, so this was, he was a part of a mistake litter that was not supposed to be born.
I don't believe you.
I'm not joking.
You said he was gone. How did it happen?
Sorry, say that again.
Well, you said those kind of dogs were like disappeared, right? That
Yeah,
kind?
yeah. So there's one.
So how's it a mistake?
There's one breeder in South Dakota. There's one breeder in North Dakota, and there's one breeder in Arizona. Those are the only breeders for Braque du Bourbonnais left in the world. There is one left in France too.
I am so not buying that he was a mistake. But
No,
let's hear your reasoning.
I'm not joking. He's AKC registered and all that good stuff too. I'm not a snob about dogs. Like I'll take a mutt and I'll love it just the same. But it was the middle of winter, and this guy who was breeding in Sioux Falls, he only had enough room for, I don't know what they call it, a sire and a bitch, I think is what they call it.
Yeah, they call it that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
He only had room for them. Otherwise, they were going to be left out in the cold, and he didn't have a place for these pups to go. So it was a mistake. He wasn't trying to do it. So he put out an ad in the newspaper.
So they had babies.
They had babies. Yep. So he put out an ad in the newspaper, and I got the dog for like $200 originally. Like if you were to get them actually bred, you're talking upwards of $3,000.
That's what I was thinking, because you're saying like this French word and he's all super good and everything.
Yeah.
So you're lucky.
Very, very lucky. But I will tell you this much. Like I said, I'm not a snob, but I would definitely spring for another Braque du Bourbonnais in the future.
I think you're so much of a snob that you have to keep saying that word. I don't even
just
say like the French dog. Just say like French retriever dog. You sound like a snob. Every time you say like, it sounds like the stuff that they put, and I'm just being honest with you, I cannot stand hollandaise sauce. Like that egg nasty, I can't.
You don't like hollandaise?
What is it like? Is that how you say it? Like,
I don't know.
It's a white people food anyway. I don't know.
I think it's got
fantastic. Like, no, you sound like a snob every time you talk.
I make it once a week in the summertime.
Okay, let's be honest. You want to? Can I switch subjects on you real quick?
Yeah.
Rod Stewart.
What about him?
Does your voice get compared to that? Or like Marge's sisters? Don't laugh. You know it's true. You have a smoker's voice. It's not my fault.
I'm sick right now, but yeah, that is funny.
You're not sick. I've met you before. I've met you online.
It's raspier than it normally is.
No.
Okay, so
Rod Stewart.
I don't get compared to Rod Stewart. In fact, I don't get compared to anybody. You're the only one that
Can you say something really quickly?
Like Marge, you mean?
Say, no. Say forever young.
Forever young.
Say if you like my body. And
I do that when I karaoke often. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. And people don't come up to you and be like, that's exactly the same.
Well, I mean, I also get that for Led Zeppelin, so.
Nah, dude, Led Zeppelin is, no offense. You have a voice that has
Are you ready for it?
Okay, yeah.
Hey, mama said the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove.
Yeah.
Hope that wasn't too loud. Hopefully Matt's not cutting that out.
That's pretty good.
Thanks.
Do you know, so for my senior prom, 1994 or 4, I went with a cowboy.
Did he wear a cowboy hat?
Jedediah. I had a purple mohawk at the time, and he had like a purple cummerbund to match me, right? And a really, really, really big belt, right? The belts thing.
Yeah.
And like a leather trench. I think it was like, oh god,
a duster.
Cowboy,
a duster.
Everything. Yes. So we were fighting about what music, and I was like, I brought CDs, No Effects, The Cure, right? Social D, all kinds of good stuff. Yeah. And he's like, oh, we can't play that on the way to the prom. And he's like, I brought like Garth Brooks, all this country stuff. And I was like, no. Do you know what we agreed on? Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix.
Can't beat it, right?
Because we both liked it. Liked it.
I thought he was just going to start playing like Should Have Been a Cowboy to you or something like that.
He better not. And to be honest, I don't think we danced, because as a teenager, I kind of learned that there's a fun way to mosh between the lines at line dances. I mean, it upsets people, but it's doable. Yeah.
Yeah. How'd that go?
to be honest, and I think I've mentioned this before in podcasts, I usually kind of try to flirt with the DJ and hand him a CD of The Cure, usually hot, hot, hot. And I just go out there and do my own thing, like kind of like a new wavy thing.
Yeah.
And I grew up like in a tiny school and everyone would just stare at me. Years later, I found out
people are still
that
staring
Mr.
at
Buzzmate, well, come on. No, years later, I found out that my science teacher's wife on purpose would chaperone to watch me dance.
That's awesome.
And kind of creepy now that I just said it out loud.
You know, I don't think it is. I mean, is it a guy?
No, it's a chick.
Oh,
she
okay.
just had to know like
that's
the moves.
That's what I thought.
She had to know like the moves can come ethereally through you, right?
Yeah,
She had to understand that.
Dance like no one's watching, right?
Okay, who's Bonnie Tyler? Isn't she got like that throat thing?
Yeah.
Okay, I need a hero. You can.
Yeah. I could sing Bonnie Tyler too.
Yeah, say I'm holding out for a hero.
I need a hero.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
You've got it.
It's fun.
All right, we have a few more minutes. Quick questions. You ready?
Yeah. Let's do it.
You guys asked me this crap, so I'm going to ask you this crap. You ready?
Yeah.
5 most influential musicians.
Musicians. Okay, this is a little.
Is that what you did for me, or was it bands?
It was albums, but I'll do musicians because that's a lot easier.
Okay, musicians.
Okay.
All right.
This is off the top of my head, and just like you were saying, this would probably change based off of the day. But number 5, I would say, is Norma Jean.
Oh, you mean what was it? What is it? Ludacris?
Yeah, it used to be Ludacris way back in the day. Throwing
like
Myself was their album. The best, right? So good.
Did they play the Furnace Fest we went, or just the one before?
The one before. No, both.
Yeah.
No, they've done all of them.
I was on. Oh, well, I wouldn't know, but I was on stage one of them and got a lot of filming, so they were great.
Yeah.
And can I just give you a little fact?
Sure.
I was the first one to ever get any Chariot merch.
The first one ever?
Ever. They had just made shirts too tight, too small, but I took it. It was like a woman's, the Chariot pink with like tiny little, like really tight, like almost like a crop. But I was like, thank you. So they're like, you're the first one with any Chariot merch.
That's awesome. I'm a huge Chariot fan as well.
Of course you are. So I had to brag. Okay, number 2.
That's incredible. Number 2. I'm trying to. I'm going to try to diversify. Is that okay?
Well, if it's true,
like I'm not going to just stick with like one genre. Okay.
You shouldn't.
So my number 4.
You said 2.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, did I say 2?
Oh, are you going backwards?
Yeah, I'm going backwards because I want to get to the last one being the best one. So number 4, I would say, I'll say Pink Floyd.
Oh. Yeah. And have you done the whole thing with the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, for sure.
It works.
Yeah. My all-time favorite song is actually Echoes, which is off the album Metal. It's like 23 minutes long. And
how does that one? Does it have a woman screaming when like the house is on fire, going around and around? And
no, that is Great Gig in the Sky.
Ooh,
that you're thinking of. Yeah. No, Metal. The album Metal is an okay album, but the song Echoes I think is perfect. The main guitar riff.
What would be the hook?
Sure. The main guitar riff sounds exactly like Phantom of the Opera. Like Frank Lloyd. Yeah.
No. Really?
Yeah, Frank Lloyd Wright ripped it off from Pink Floyd, and Pink Floyd.
Full of crap.
I'm not. Look it up.
Okay. Crazy. I believe you.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Stuff. Yeah.
All right, I believe you.
That's my favorite song ever. And it like.
I will look it up.
It goes through the journey of like human evolution, and it's like poetically done, and it's the most mesmerizing piece of music I've ever heard. I'm
gonna make a little jump here. Are you a Rush fan?
I am not like super deep, but I like some Rush. Also, I love singing like Geddy Lee too. He's a fun one.
Well, here's the thing: like the Rush documentary is so good because it's so boring. They're like, "Oh, we like a little wine from time."
They're so Canadian, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But Pink Floyd had one of my favorite quotes.
What's that?
That I always say for 5 Iron.
Okay.
which is people always say, "Oh, are you trying to be more ska or more punk or more ska or more punk?" And I'm always like, someone in Pink Floyd once said, "Writing for the fan is the fool's game."
Yeah, that was definitely Roger
And I
Waters.
truly believe that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you write what you like, what you would want to rock out to, right? Not, you
Yeah.
don't know, you can't read someone's mind, what they're going to be into. So write what you want to play and what you like.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Number 3.
Oh, shit. Number 3. This is so hard. I can't.
It's hard if you don't mention a woman. It's hard if you don't mention a woman.
Oh, what do you mean don't mention a woman?
Are you going to say like all bands with just all dudes?
I mean, I might. I don't know. I love a lot of bands with women in it, though. I mean, it's not
well, then let's hear one. What's one of your favorite bands with a woman in it?
One of my new favorites is Dying Wish. Have you listened to them?
Is it metal?
Yeah, they're metal-ish. Yeah,
sounds metal.
They're like hardcore. I just saw them in the cities not that long ago, in the Twin Cities.
What's the cities? Oh,
the Twin Cities. Yeah, Minneapolis, St. Paul. And they were fantastic, absolutely incredible.
Like, do they do screamo?
Yeah, I mean they're screaming. Yeah. You're not supposed to call it screamo though. That is a thing.
Oh, am I too old?
No. I'm just helping you.
Black metal, fast metal, grunge metal. What am I supposed to call it?
Hardcore would work. Yeah.
No, because okay, I think of hardcore as like a veil, like happy hardcore, like or hot water music. Is that hardcore?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Okay,
I'm not a genre snob either, to be honest. But I'm just saying.
But you just told me I can't say screamo.
I just know enough that you're not supposed to call it screamo unless it's actually screamo.
Well, what's actually screamo?
It's emo music that you scream to.
No.
That's not.
No.
Yeah, I think it is.
No.
Yeah.
Like who? Like who? Who's screamo then?
Like
Further Seems Forever is emo.
Mm-hmm. So like every once in a while, like Hawthorne Heights or Emery would be considered screamo.
Oh, I'm too old. I'm too old. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, sure. Number 3, I'll go Jimmy Eat World.
You already yes. So that's emo.
Yeah, definitely. That is pure emo.
I wish I had a gift for you, but I gave it away.
I'm heartbroken.
You should be. It was the first tape with Call It in the Air. I saw them play. It was 2 songs on one side and 1 on the other side. I saw them play. I didn't even know what emo was. I asked them, I was young. I asked them at the Christie Front Drive Warehouse in Denver, what kind of music is this? And they said emo. And I said, well, do you guys love the Lord? And do you know what they said? They said, the drummer does. I had no concept what emo was.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. It was the first time they played Denver at a tiny little warehouse. And they gave me a little tape. Anyway, I should have given it to you. I already gave it away. Sorry. I'm old, dude. I'm old.
Oh, I love that, though. That's great.
Yeah. Okay, next. You're ready for your big one?
Oh, no. We're on 2, aren't we?
You're going backwards. I'm so screwed. Go anyway. What?
Oh, maybe I'll have 6.
Do 6. What's next?
Yeah. Oh, okay. 2. Man, I really want to do like.
You look like you're in pain, kind of thinking about this.
Like it really does hurt my brain.
It shouldn't be painful. It shouldn't be. Please.
I want it to be right. You know.
You are someone who believes in right and wrong.
Yes, I am.
You exhaust me already.
Yes.
What if there is no right? What if there is no right? What if it's just whatever you want?
I think that
as far as music, as far as the band you want. Come on, if you're going to stress about that.
It's something that says a lot about an individual. And so I want it to be right for me.
Maybe I didn't do it right on your podcast then, because I'm like,
just whatever. That's all right. You know,
well, no, not whatever, but it's like nostalgia. Like nostalgia will always win because you don't have to prove it. Like you don't have to say it's good because if it's nostalgia wins, right?
That's true. Yeah. Okay. I like that. Number 2. God, I want to go something funky, jazzy maybe.
You're like, do I want to say like Miles Davis or do I want to say like Louis Armstrong or do I want to say like, oh, I'm really, really into like early Michael Jackson or Stevie Wonder, right?
Mm-hmm. That's kind of the realm.
Yeah, I know.
Not
Prince.
I'm not a Prince fan. No.
Okay, well,
I like a few songs, but you know, I think he's overrated personally.
You haven't heard enough.
I might not have. I think we did have that discussion too already, haven't we?
Yeah. Okay, your turn. Go. 2.
I'm so sorry. It takes forever for me.
Why? Because you're stressing over the right. If you stress, you're going to take forever.
Yeah. I think.
Let's just go with Aretha Franklin.
I love Aretha, but I'll say this. I'll say Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
How about?
Oh.
In terms of influential, like Frank Sinatra was like massively influential to me.
When you decided to get pigs.
Say that again.
No, I said when you decided to get pigs.
Yeah, I sing to
You mean musically? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You named one pig old Blue Eyes?
No, none of them had blue eyes. Otherwise, I would have. Yeah. Number
so
one.
You sing, right? You're in a band? Wait, stop.
Yeah, okay, I'll stop. I'm stopped.
You're in a band.
I'm not. I wish I was.
Weren't you though?
Not really. I mean, like some
I thought you sing. No,
bands. I do sing. Yeah, but
just by yourself, like karaoke.
Yeah, I don't have any friends that play music very well. Except, well, I do. I take that back.
You have like about 10 friends that are very disappointed to hear you say that right now.
Right. Well,
we will not.
I'll say this. I'll say this. I have a lot of friends that play music very well, but they already have singers or they don't have singers. Period. So like one of my friends is like one of the best jazz pianists I've ever heard in my entire life, and like, yeah,
dude, I feel like you have a jazz voice.
Oh, totally. I love singing jazz.
You don't even have to start smoking. You already have it.
Maybe, yeah.
Not maybe. You do.
Yeah.
Something about it. Anyway, okay.
Last one is easy for me. That's the Beatles. I mean, I'm a massive, massive, massive Beatles fan. They've like.
How could you not be?
Like, like when people say like, music isn't part of your identity. Like they're like, that's not a personality trait.
Say that?
Well, they say that music's not a personality trait. Just because you like a band, it's not a personality. I think the Beatles are a personality trait. Personally.
I did not get the Beatles until I watched the film yesterday. Have you seen that?
Yeah, for sure.
So it made me cry.
So you didn't get the Beatles until just recently then. What was it that made you get it?
I knew they had a lot of good songs, but I needed to hear the humanity in the songs.
Wow. That's interesting because I think that they're like the most human band ever to exist.
But I think it's easy to take it for granted. Like if you have something amazing, you take it for granted, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't grow up with a acknowledgement of the beauty of them. Like how can you have so many freaking amazing hits?
Yeah.
But then when I listened to the Yesterday soundtrack,
and
I'm not trying to say like, ooh, I only like it when a minority sings it, right? This Indian dude singing the song, suddenly I love them. But I will be honest, there was something to that.
Yeah.
And then my kids and my husband recorded a beautiful version of In My Life for me. And just kills me.
That one.
So yeah, I'm a newer, like probably in the last 5 years, newer Beatles fan.
I love it. You got to do.
Also, I have a lot of pride.
Yeah.
So like, how like a lot of bands go on tour and they're like, who do you like best, the Who or the Beatles? And I'm like, I'm out. Unless we're talking about something that's good, I'm out. But I didn't realize like it was good.
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed to say that now because like Beatles are damn good.
Are you a big Who fan though?
Yes.
Okay, I am too. I think it's the greatest set of 4 musicians ever in a band.
There you go. There you go.
If it wasn't the Who, it wasn't Pink Floyd, it's going to be the Who for me. So.
Well, okay. And what about Beach Boys?
I like the Beach Boys. I just a lot of that early stuff of theirs. I could take it or leave it personally.
Cheesy, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Cullen, thank you for being on my podcast. Any advice for people who want to raise pigs? Because we got off so many times.
I'm so sorry about that.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
No, don't be sorry.
Yeah.
If you can hear this noise, I have a chihuahua on my bed trying to make a hole. I don't know if you can hear that.
Can't hear it at all, no.
Trying to dig to Australia, which is really annoying on my sheets. But anyway, okay.
2
pieces of advice for people who want to get pigs.
Yeah, 2 pieces of advice. Make sure that your feed mixture is good. So, a lot of people, when they get started with pigs, they do not think about what a pig is going to eat. They just think, oh my gosh, pigs are so cute. I can't wait to have them, so on and so forth. Pigs need a very specific diet. even though they can eat anything and they will eat just about anything, they do have a very specific diet, and you need to make sure they get enough protein. Otherwise, they're not.
You are not going to say to feed pigs pigs. I cannot handle this. You already said feed chickens chickens. Now you want to feed pigs pigs? Is that what you're saying?
No, well, I have done that. I mean, I have given my pigs some bacon, and they love it. But the big thing that I do is I do soybean meal, which you can do yourself. If you have like one pig, you can actually roast your own soybean meal yourself in your oven. Not a big deal. Or you can go to
tofu?
No, it's like it looks like crushed up corn, like grape nuts. It looks like grape nuts.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. And then they also need a little bit of mineral, so you have to add some nutrient, which you can get very, very inexpensively and stuff like that. So always make sure that you have a good diet that is right for them at whatever stage they're going to be in. That's one thing I would say. Number two is understand that they are very, very smart, and they are deeply emotional creatures.
Can you pause?
Yeah.
I have an emotional creature that wants to see the other emotional creature.
Aww.
Oh, somebody took it. So I had a dog that wanted to see the other dog. They're together now. Happy.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay, so they're emotional?
Yeah, they're deeply emotional. So like they definitely feed off your energy. So like if you come up to them in like a bad mood, which by the way, I don't even know how you could, because they're so damn cute and so nice.
No, you could. I'll tell you how you could. Same with chickens. It's freaking cold. You put on your boots.
Yeah.
You're walking out. You have to feed them. You have to give them water. You're cold. You want to just be in bed. You're watching a movie, and then you're kind of irritated, right? Like you bring that energy to it.
I guess I don't.
I hate to say it.
I personally don't have that with my pigs. My chickens, I will. My chickens,
I'm so sorry. You're a saint, Cullen. I'm so sorry.
That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying I really enjoy it, and they love treats. They take a treat like a dog would. Like, how a dog just like gets like super excited. He's like, I want to please you. I want to make you so happy. Please give me the treat. Like that's exactly how a pig is too. A pig will do just about anything. They're great. And they run around, they're cute. They have like really like complex social lives amongst themselves. And you can witness it. And there's so much more fun to witness than even chickens are.
Really? More than chickens?
Believe it or not, way more interesting than chickens.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah.
Wow. I appreciated having you on the podcast. We got all over the place, but I'm glad I got to be honest with you about your voice, because I've been needing to say this to you. It was a little, it was really good. Thank you so much. And congratulations on all the success of your podcast. Your podcast is kicking A all over the place and super rad.
Yeah.
For people that are listening, check out Cullen's podcast with Mason, the Black Sheep podcast. They're always doing awesome things. And you're sponsored by HM. Is that true?
Yeah. So if people are going to look it up, like on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube, just make sure you type in presented by HM Magazine. Otherwise, there's a bunch of imitators out there that are trying to steal our.
And we won't pretend that that's not, heaven's music or heavy music. We'll pretend like we don't know. All right. Well, you do well. We will talk to you later. Thank you so much, Cullen.
Thank you.